When the judge read the words, 4 years in prison, the entire courtroom fell silent. Cameras flashed, reporters scrambled, and Diddy, once one of the most powerful men in music, stood motionless. Just months ago, he was fighting for his freedom. Now, he's heading to federal prison. But this sentencing wasn't just about punishment, it was about accountability, power, and a legacy collapsing in real time. For decades, Sean Diddy Combs built an empire. From bad boy records to fashion lines, from global fame to billionaire status, he was untouchable, or so it seemed. But after years of allegations, controversies, and resurfaced footage, that empire began to crumble. Now, after one of the most publicized trials in modern entertainment history, Diddy's sentencing marks a turning point, not just for him, but for how the world views celebrity power and justice. When the judge entered that Manhattan courtroom, everyone knew history was about to be made. Prosecutors had called this case a moment for accountability. Fans were split, some still defending him, others calling for justice. At one point, legal analysts said Diddy could spend the rest of his life in prison if found guilty on all charges. The stakes couldn't have been higher. His empire, built on music, media, and money, was on the line. His reputation, already scarred by years of rumors and lawsuits, now stood on trial. When the verdict came down earlier this year, the tension broke. The jury found him guilty on 2 counts of transportation for adult services, serious federal charges that carried a maximum of 10 years each. But they also acquitted him of the far more severe counts of racketeering conspiracy and human exploitation, which could have led to life in prison. So, by the time sentencing day arrived, the question wasn't if Diddy would go to prison, it was for how long. And when the judge finally said 50 months, the courtroom froze. Reporters immediately sent breaking alerts. Diddy sentenced to 4 years. But that stunned moment was only the beginning. The details of this case go deep. Diddy's conviction centered around 2 incidents involving his ex-girlfriend Cassie Ventura and another woman referred to as Jane. According to prosecutors, Diddy organized and paid for adult encounters across state lines, violating federal transportation laws. Cassie had already filed a civil case against him years prior, claiming abuse and manipulation. The criminal trial echoed many of those same claims, but with stronger evidence, including security footage and testimonies from former employees. Still, the jury's decision to acquit him on racketeering and trafficking charges was a huge win for his defense team. Those charges were built around a larger pattern of alleged behavior, claims that Diddy ran a network of people who helped arrange and conceal illegal activities. But while he dodged the most severe accusations, prosecutors made sure the judge saw the bigger picture. "This is not a victimless crime," they said. "This is about power, control, and exploitation." The mixed verdict left the public divided. Some argued it was justice served, others felt he got off too lightly. And as the court prepared for sentencing, one thing was clear: the judge had a difficult balance to strike. So when it came time to decide punishment, the judge was walking a tightrope. October 3rd, 2025. The courtroom in Lower Manhattan was packed, dozens of reporters, rows of lawyers. And in the center, Sean Combs, wearing a grey suit, his head slightly lowered. Before the sentence was read, Diddy asked to speak. He stood, voice trembling, and told the court he had been humbled and broken to my core. He apologized to Cassie Ventura, to his family, and to all the women who were hurt by my actions. He said, "I take full responsibility for my behavior. I've made terrible mistakes. I'm not the same man I was." His lawyers pushed for leniency, arguing he had already served 13 months in federal custody and had been making progress in therapy and addiction programs. They claimed he wasn't a threat to society and asked for a sentence of time served. But prosecutors weren't buying it. They urged the judge to give Diddy at least 11 years, citing what they called a pattern of violence and manipulation spanning decades. They played footage from 2016 showing Diddy attacking Cassie in a hotel hallway, a video that became a major turning point in the case. When it was over, Judge Arun Subramanian addressed Diddy directly. He said, "Violence against women must be met with real accountability. You've built a life on influence and privilege, but today, that ends here." The courtroom was silent. Then the judge delivered his sentence: 50 months in prison, a $500,000 fine, and 5 years of supervised release after serving time. After hours of testimony and emotional statements, the moment of reckoning had arrived. So what does 50 months actually mean for Diddy? Under federal law, inmates serve about 85% of their sentence with good behavior. That means he'll likely serve around 42 months total, just over 3.5 years. Since he's already been in custody for about 13 months, that time counts toward his total. In the best-case scenario, he could be released in roughly 2.5 years. Along with prison time, Diddy was ordered to pay a $500,000 fine and complete 5 years of supervised release, meaning even after prison, he'll still be monitored by the government. For comparison, prosecutors originally sought 11 years. So, legally speaking, this sentence landed right in the middle. It was harsh enough to make a statement, but lenient enough to acknowledge his cooperation and lack of prior criminal record. The judge said, "This sentence reflects both accountability and fairness." But that number tells only part of the story, because what happened after the sentence revealed even more. When the judge's gavel came down, Diddy's children cried quietly in the back row. They had spoken earlier, pleading for mercy, saying their father was a loving man who made mistakes. Cassie Ventura, however, wasn't in court, but her words were. Her victim impact statement was read aloud, describing years of fear, manipulation, and emotional trauma. She wrote, "For years, I was afraid to speak. I thought no one would believe me. But today, I finally feel heard." Judge Subramanian addressed her directly, saying, "Your voice matters. You've been through things most people can't imagine." Outside the courthouse, reactions poured in. Fans debated whether the sentence was too light. Legal experts said the case could mark a cultural shift, proof that fame can't shield anyone from accountability. On social media, hashtags like #JusticeForCassie and #DiddySentenced began trending. Many praised Cassie's courage. Others expressed disappointment, saying 4 years wasn't enough for the years of alleged harm. Even Diddy's closest allies started to distance themselves. Some artists quietly deleted old posts. Major brands paused partnerships. For an industry once built on his influence, silence became the new response. With the background settled, let's zoom out to the bigger picture. Beyond Diddy himself, this sentencing has bigger implications. It raises a question many people have avoided for years. How much power should celebrities really hold? For decades, Diddy was seen as untouchable, a music mogul, a mentor, a billionaire icon. But his downfall mirrors what we've seen across Hollywood and the music industry, a slow but undeniable shift toward accountability. This case is already being studied by lawyers, activists, and entertainment insiders as a potential turning point for celebrity justice. It could influence how future cases are prosecuted, especially those involving abuse, coercion, or exploitation under the shadow of fame. Diddy's legal team has already hinted at an appeal, claiming the sentence was excessive and that some evidence was taken out of context. But experts say an appeal could take years and is unlikely to succeed. Meanwhile, civil cases against Diddy are still ongoing. Several accusers have filed separate lawsuits, some seeking damages for emotional and physical harm. As for Diddy's career, it's hard to imagine a comeback anytime soon. His businesses, including music publishing and fashion ventures, have taken massive hits. Endorsements have vanished. His reputation, once a symbol of success, is now permanently tied to scandal. And yet, this story isn't just about one man's fall. It's about a larger reckoning within entertainment, one that asks whether fame should ever place anyone above the law. As the bars close, the questions open. Will this sentencing finally signal real change in how justice treats the powerful?